Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. Today is Monday, September 2nd, 2019, Labor Day in the United States and probably in a few other countries as well. And the time is approximately 9:20 p.m. The sun is in Virgo and the moon is either in Libra or is now in Scorpio. I have not looked. Growing up, my family and I never really went away for Labor Day. We never went away for weekends, for long weekends. We never went away to the beach. I do, and throughout most of the day, I've been thinking about, like, did we ever do anything? And I really don't remember anything. But I do want to reassure all of you that I have been home for the entire day. I've been primarily resting. Anything that I've done, I did go on a bit of a cleaning binge, but it was very minute. I didn't strain myself, I didn't stress myself. Oh, that's a sign. It's time for some café. This is not Café Bustelo, by the way. This is what I call Delixo. This is a cosmically charged concoction. I take 3 or 4 different brands of coffees, different flavors, and I put them together in the percolator. I add my cash coffee ingredients, thank you Patricia Telesco, of allspice, cinnamon, and ginger. Say a blessing over the percolator, heat it up, and then in a separate container I heat up, usually I combine milk, light cream, or heavy cream, or whipping cream, and a non-dairy flavored creamer. And that's how we do coffee à chez Robert. Oh, that's so good. And I added honey this time. I didn't add sugar. Okay. Oh, that's so good. So I do want to reassure you that I've had a very delightful, very restful day. I've eaten like a king. I had the honor and pleasure of having my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos make a big pot of rice and black beans with chicken. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, he absolutely outdid himself. Then again, he is Puerto Rican, so when it comes to people that are Caribbean descent, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, we know how to make the rice and beans, baby. And no leftovers. I had 2 full-sized bowls, small bowls. His was larger, of course, but that's okay. And it was so good. Thank you, Goddess, for this divine providence. Speaking of Goddess, this is the video for the Many Moons 2019 Lunar Planner for August 2019. And I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the tarot or oracle card pull for the month. And I'm going to read what it says. Pull 1 card or a series of cards for the month, for this month. So there were no prompts, but that gives me an opportunity to talk about 3-card spreads. So I think it's safe to say that 3-card spreads are the most common and often used in tarot readings. And there are a lot of different 3-card spreads. There's past, present, and future. There's situation, challenge, and outcome. There's one of my personal favorites, Maiden, Mother, Crone. There is, and I just had it in my mind, oh yes, mind, body, and soul. Although a lot of people say spirit, I say soul. And then of course there's head, hand, heart. That's another one. So I am going to do a 3-card spread, and I recently found my copy of the Mystical Cats Tarot, created by Linnea Weatherstone, illustrated by the Mickey Muller, also known as Mickey C. Muller. And I want to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the bag. Now, I want to tell, it's a little bit dusty because it was in a drawer, but so this is the reason why I love the tarot bags of Wild Child Creations. And I love that it has an image of my celestial mother, Set, the ancient Egyptian goddess more commonly known as Isis. And it just so happens there is an aspect of the goddess Isis called Isis Victrix. Isis, and it literally translates as Isis the victorious throne. Isis Victrix. And in that aspect, she has the head of a lioness. So when I saw the winged Isis with the two lions flanking her, I was like, I gotta have this. Originally on, when Wild Child Creations had an Etsy shop, this was the design that she used for a pouch, for a pillow for a crystal sphere. And I was just so enchanted by the design. I was like, well, I don't have a crystal sphere that I use on a regular basis, but I just loved this. I loved this, and I remember I'm going off on a tangent, so I apologize, but I love that she customized this. 2 different colors of Dupioni silk. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up, because you can see the top one is more of, I would say, a pearl silver, like a mother of pearl silver, and the bottom one is more of a silver gray. Can they see that? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deck and I'm going to shuffle it. And this is the back of the card. This is the High Priestess card, those of us who love amethysts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call upon the great goddess, call upon the god, call upon the lady and the lord, call upon the ascended masters, spirit guides, guardian angels, my ancestors, the elementals, and all the powers of the universe as I cast these cards. And although I'm casting these cards for myself, I'm really casting these cards for all of us, for all of you watching. Because normally when I cast cards in my YouTube videos, I am focusing on myself, but this time I feel like there's this like collective vibe going on. So, if this resonates with you, please let me know in the comments. And I think that's it. I'm going to cut the deck into 3 piles. I'm making this super easy. I'm not even using a table or a layout cloth. I'm going to set aside the top 3 cards. And then I'm going to set aside the bottommost card for the final message card. Okay, so the top card represents the maiden aspect of the goddess. And the maiden aspect of the goddess is new beginnings, self-empowerment, self-sufficiency, sovereignty, if you will. Although in some Irish and Welsh traditions, mother goddesses have that sovereignty vibe. But it is stars. And it's so funny because the stars card, more commonly known as the star card, is the card that corresponds to the sun sign Aquarius. So if your sun sign is Aquarius, or its polar opposite Leo, or if you have rising and or moon in Leo or Aquarius, there are new beginnings in store for you. And this is definitely a time of creating new beginnings and new opportunities. And it's interesting to note that for my personal psychic advisor, Roger Pratt, the Queen of Swords corresponds to Libra energy. And in roughly 21 or 22 days, the sun will enter Libra. So you can definitely expect, especially if your sun, rising, or moon signs are Aquarius or Leo or Libra or Aries, new beginnings as of the autumnal equinox, or as some magical traditions call it, Mabon. The mother aspect of the goddess. Nourishment, nurturance, Isis, 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 Isis. My beautiful alpha female, cálmate, coño. Shh. Interrupting my video. This is the aspect of nourishment, nurturance, of maternal energies, of goddess energies, of receiving. And it is the 3 of fire. It's so funny because It really is so funny because the goddess Briad, who is a triple goddess, has been on my mind a lot lately. And it's interesting to note that in the Universal Goddess Tarot by Maria Carati, illustrated by Antonella Platano, and published by Lo Scarabeo in Torino, Italy, the Queen, no, either the Queen of Wands or the King of Wands in that tarot deck depicts Briad. And she is depicted with the triquetra, which is commonly called the charm symbol. Well, it's been called the charm symbol for years, but this one is pointing upward as opposed to downward. And it is an Irish, Celtic, Gaelic symbol of the triple goddess. And 3 is a triple number, and here is this cute little white cat. I must admit, I rarely encounter white cats on the internet, in person, in tarot decks. They do exist, but it's a cute little white cat looking at the bright fire. So stoke your inner flame, and of course, the polar opposite of every air sign is a fire sign. So on the date, or rather while the sun is transiting in Libra, I do invite you to use magical tools and sacred tools that correspond to the elements of air, such as incense, and fire, such as candles. And then we have the dark and glorious crone, or as I call her, the juicy crone, or as Raven Grimassi calls her, the crone of the cottage. It's so funny because I had a wonderful friend named Phyllis, and one time she wanted to know what was another word for crone, and I said hag. But the irony is hag comes from the Greek word hagia, Hagia, which means high. Or no, it means holy. Hagia is the Greek word for holy, as in Hagia Sophia, holy wisdom. But you know, it's like hag. I mean, who wants to be called a hag, right? Holy hag doesn't cut it. Juicy crone, JC baby. So for the juicy crone card, we have, how appropriate, the sun, this big ball of fire. And of course, keep in mind that on the date of an equinox or an equinox, I always forget how to pronounce that correctly, whether it is the vernal equinox, the first day of spring, the first day of the sun's transit in Aries, or the autumnal equinox, the first day of the sun's transit in Libra. So equinox means equal night. So the number of daytime hours and the number of nighttime hours are equal. Well, generally speaking, scientifically speaking, astronomically speaking. So I invite you on the date of the autumnal equinox, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, the vernal equinox. Autumnal equinox. Yeah, I got it right. Vernal equinox, yes. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it would be the vernal equinox. So for you, it would be the sun entering Aries. If it's the northern hemisphere, it would be the autumnal equinox, the sun entering Libra. On that date, get some sun, if you can, if it's safe for you. Do that SPF if you need to. Or at the very least, sit in your home, bathe yourself in light. And definitely, if you're going to do a meditation or a visualization, visualize yourself not only bathed in golden solar radiance, but also having it radiate from within you. And of course, it's no coincidence that the Sun card is astrologically aligned with the Sun, which rules Leo in Western astrology. So there's a lot of Aries, Leo, Libra, Aquarius energy going on right now. There really is, and I've been feeling it a lot today especially. Ooh, as I just got lightheaded, so you know I'm telling the truth. And the final message card is the Nine of Sky. Confront your fears. Confront your insecurities, your doubts, your worries. And if anybody's walking all over you, you're going to need to say something. If you are allowing somebody to disempower you, to make you feel less than beautiful, powerful, sacred, magnificent, you need to say something. And I'm dealing with this too. There's somebody that I've been dealing with lately that I need to deal with whether I like it or not. And the thoughts that have been coming into my mind about her are not very nice. Like, some of you would be shocked if I told you what I think of her, like the exact phrase that I'm using in my mind. And it's been reminding me about the need for forgiveness. So with that, YouTube, I invite all of you to use 3-card spreads. If you do have the Mystical Cats Tarot, let me know what your experiences have been with it. If you do a 3-card spread, let me know which one you did. Let me know which cards came out. If you feel comfortable sharing it, you may not. I don't know. Although and this is not an official video reply, so you don't have to do it that way. Although I will say, it has been a while since I've done a video, a tarot tag, and I know that that's one thing that's been on the back burner. I've been wanting to create a new tarot tag. I've been wanting to create an oracle card tag, and I definitely want to create a rune tag, because I'm still having the honor and pleasure of participating in Renee Starr's Divine Feminine Rune course through Mother House of the Goddess. It is so crazy. I cannot, for the life of me, remember the exact phrasing of this course, but it's something like Divine Feminine Rune Course 2019. And that's so, that's so atypical of me. Usually I can tell you the exact phrasing, the this, the that. Before I close, I want to thank all of you once again for the likes, for the shares on the social media platforms that I use and you use, the social media platforms that you use and I no longer use, like Facebook, spreading the word offline. And one of the books that I've been feeling divinely guided and intuitively led to reread is The Prospering Power of Love by Dr. Catherine Ponder. And it's so funny because, I've read this book several times. I absolutely love part 2, because it talks about the angel letter writing method, which those of you that have participated in my private prosperity classes and in my Divine Prosperity events, now Divine Prosperity simulcast events, I've often talked about the angel letter writing method. In fact, Swan of Dreamers and I have very special and very especially sacred relationships with our respective prosperity angels. It's been a source of amusement and delight for both of us, individually and collectively. And we've often spent time with each other and shared some amazing, divinely delightful sacred stories and money miracles and prosperity gifts with regards to our prosperity angels. I love this book very much. It's a short read. I'm very biased when it comes to Dr. Catherine Ponder's books, and the very first one that I ever read of hers was The Prosperity Secrets of the Ages. So I tend to recommend that one more than any other. But what I love about this book is that it does not solely focus on romantic relationships. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I really don't talk about certain things publicly. I'm a very open person, but I'm a very private person as well. For 7 years and 1 month, I have been in the most devoted, most loyal, longest lasting, most healing, and most functional romantic relationship I have ever had in my life. He is truly my divine consort. He is one of my personal heroes. I love and adore him very much. Don't get me wrong. There are times when I want to wring his neck. There are times that I want to smack the shit out of him to the point that I fall on the floor in exhaustion. And believe me, there have been times recently where it's like, I'm going to smack this bitch. Pow, 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 pow. But I calm down for the most part. And, and I'm not in jail, which is a good thing, because that would be really screwed up. That would be screwed up. No, but seriously, it is one of the most beautiful romantic relationships. No, I stand corrected. It is the most beautiful romantic relationship I've ever had. It is the one that brings me so much joy. He challenges me. He has a backbone. And he surprises me. And one of the things that I love most about him is that he gets me. You know, I don't need to explain who I am to him because he gets me. And he is absolutely one of the primary reasons, if not the number one reason, why I never cared for dating. Dating just never did it for me. I mean, going out on a date one time or twice, that's fine. But dating somebody, it never resonated with me, and I never knew why. With him, I know why. He really does bring a lot of joy into my life. He is a dichotomy also, because there are qualities that he has that I do not have. Maybe I have them, but they're so buried. You know, like, he doesn't panic. I freak out. Sometimes I panic, but I usually freak out. And he's the one that remains calm. I'm the one that needs to be sedated. Twice. And he just rolled his eyes because because I'm absolutely correct about that. In other words, what I said is absolutely the truth. Yes. And, you know, over the last few years, I've had a few hospitalizations where I'm like, yeah, give me some sedation, please. If I could give birth, I'd be like, give me that epidural. Give me the epidural, but I don't need to give birth, which is a good thing, because, you know. But all I can say is that even though, what I love about this book is that it does not focus solely on romantic love. Because you know what? Having a romantic relationship really is juicy, really is fun, really is beautiful, really is challenging, really is exciting. And, I mean, there are people that are not sexually involved with me that I love and adore. You know, Swan of Dreamers is one of my favorite people on the planet. I love and adore her. I love kissing her cheeks. I love giving her hugs. I love receiving hugs from her. I love it when we share a meal together. I love it when we talk about tarot decks and oracle card decks. I love it when we talk about the goddess and goddesses. You know, and I love her. I love and adore her so much. She is one of my favorite people on the planet. I love spending time with her. I spend a lot of time with her offline and in person, online, as well as online. It's so funny because I think between Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and email and text message, it's like there are so many different ways we communicate with each other. And we rarely talk on the phone, which is so funny. But, you know, given how much we do in our respective lives on the phone, it kind of makes sense. You know, I do have no issue talking on the phone, but I'm not one of those people that'll be like on the phone for hours. No. Maybe it's a chronological age thing, but no. The thought of me being on the phone with somebody for more than an hour and a half, am I being paid? Am I being fed before or during or no. I love the quiet. So if you do not already have The Prospering Power of Love, with all of Dr. Catherine Ponder's books, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. I am aware that she does write from a biblical perspective, but keep in mind that Unity Church Worldwide, headquartered in Palm Desert, California, of which Dr. Catherine Ponder is director, is non-denominational. So you can be a witch and still work with her spiritual decrees and affirmations. And before I forget, let me have my awesome audio-visual person do a quick close-up of the cover. And always look for the sunburst. The sunburst is a dead giveaway with regards to Dr. Catherine Ponder's books. So YouTube, as always, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. I wish all of you many blessings of divine love, and ever more, ever increasing divine love. And good night.